and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today, we are talking about professional parking management tried to scam me. So as a gig worker for DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, I have to go into a lot of different restaurants and locations, and that includes other drivers who also got to do the same thing. Some locations have their own parking lot, free parking. Some have pay-to-park locations, which I tend to avoid for the most part, and some you kind of have to create your own parking, if you know what I mean. And there are some instances where you have free parking, but some people want to take advantage of good people and try to charge them for that anyway. And professional parking management is one of those companies. Now, I didn't know this until I did some research on the subject, and it turns out it's a pretty dark rabbit hole that I ended up going into. So with that said, I want to talk about how and why professional parking management, the company, tried scamming me in a free parking lot. The parking management company itself, if it is actually possible for them to do this in the first place, how I am protecting myself from these people, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's start with a few disclaimers. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear, I'm not affiliated with this company. I have not affiliated with any opposing companies or any parties that would look to combat this situation personally. I am simply going over my experience and the research that I did to discover the information that needs to be said. I also want to say one other thing. I don't typically do hyper-local issues, but this is such a bad issue in my opinion that it would be irresponsible for me as a content creator to not talk about it. So with that said, let's get started. April 21st, I was in that parking lot to pick up an order from the taco joint. I was aware that this parking lot was managed by another company, and there were signs all over the place saying that you can park there for free as long as you're going to one of the stores in which this parking lot is affiliated with. And taco joint was one of them, Carlucci's Brick Oven Tortoria. There are a lot of companies that actually are in this parking lot that I typically work with as a gig worker. And not too long after that, I got this first letter, which looks an awful lot like a citation. And honestly, I was a little shocked by the situation, so I ended up going into Carlucci's. I went to taco joint. They said it's usually free. If they ask us, we'll let them know that you were here all the time, blah, blah, blah. And they even gave me an email to email on the subject, which again, that's Amber from Professional Parking Management. But honestly, they didn't even respond to me, so it didn't look like she was planning on doing her job anyway. But some of you might be asking, who is Professional Parking Management? What is their reputation? And why is this such a big issue to me? Well, first off, Professional Parking Management is a corporation that not only is completely fabricating everything, they're graded an F by the Better Business Bureau, so they're not even Better Business Bureau accredited. They have been on the receiving end of claims that their entire website is a scam. And not only that, they have been on the receiving end of class action lawsuits because of the nature of how they operate. It's become so bad that they choose to ignore the majority of claims against them and continue to operate that way anyway. Heck, there are multiple Reddit threads talking about how they are scamming good people. I love how shameless these people are too, because when I confronted them on the subject, because I told them I am a gig worker, I am in there all the time, I have various levels of validation on the subject. Because of that, they ended up waiving the fee as a one-time courtesy. It's a one-time courtesy for you to do your job properly? Are you kidding me? It is your responsibility to do your due diligence to make sure that the claim itself is actually properly done. You said here that I was there for 20 minutes. Not only was I not there for 20 minutes, this first photo was where I actually entered to get into a parking spot on the first delivery I had during that period of time. And on the second delivery I had during that period of time, it was an exit. You took 2 different times I was there, called it one, And for some stupid reason, you're trying to charge me for you not doing your due diligence. I love how you sent me another notice about this so-called charge where I ended up there for the 21st of May and leaving on the 22nd of May. Think I was gonna park there for more than a day? You'd be lucky if I was parking there for more than 10 minutes. It's amazing to me how malicious this company is and how they tried to scam me. And yes, I disputed that too, because they're incapable of doing basic tasks. If they can't even do the bare due diligence to check your work to make sure it's done right, then you're an absolute failure in every way. And obviously, I have written statements by Carlucci's and Taco Joint. I am making this video to talk about what took place during those deliveries. I have screenshots of all the deliveries I've done in that area. I took pictures of the signage of the location stating very specifically that I am free to go in there as long as I am going into those specific locations, because I do my due diligence better than you can, you absolute scam artists. And I sent an email to Amber at professionalparkingmgmt.com. So if there's anything that I want to impart to you on this subject, is that just because some moron company ran by moron people is trying to tell you to pay something, doesn't mean you should. It doesn't mean you have to. And I'm not saying you don't pay your bills or fines if you receive them, but if you are being unfairly charged for something that isn't your fault or you haven't deserved or earned, make sure you do your due diligence and don't unnecessarily pay fines that are not your fault. That, of course, is not legal, business, financial, or tax advice of any kind. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!